So this past weekend at UFC Orlando, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson finally got back on the win column with a victory over Kevin Holland in a 5-round main event that of course ended in the 4th round itself. Now let me just start off by saying this was a really feel-good moment to see a fighter like Wonderboy at the age of 39 to put an incredible and such a good performance against a fighter like Kevin Holland, of course, and it was a really feel-good moment, especially knowing that Wonderboy suffered two straight losses in 2021 to Gilbert Burns and then to Bilal Muhammad. So yeah, congratulations to him. But we are not going to be talking about the Kevin Holland versus Wonderboy fight. We'll briefly talk about that. In fact, this video is going to focus on what is possibly in store for Wonderboy in 2023 and of course the possibility of a fight against the returning Conor McGregor. So of course, as you guys know right now, Conor McGregor himself is currently recovering after suffering that big injury against Dustin Poirier in his third fight back at UFC 264 last year. And Wonderboy, in fact, also suffered a broken hand, I believe, in his fight against Kevin Holland. So he's going to take some time to recover. So this pretty much lines up the scenario quite nicely, I believe, for 2023. We can have a returning Conor McGregor. We'll have a returning Wonderboy Thompson. I would naturally think that both these fighters would prefer a fight against each other, knowing that they are stylistically quite similar to each other. Of course, McGregor is looking, or rather you could say that McGregor would rather prefer to fight a striker, and Wonderboy Thompson, of course, after suffering two straight losses to the likes of Gilbert Burns and Bilal Muhammad, both of which are specialized in terms of wrestling and grappling, he came back on the and got back on the win column against a fighter, of course, who is no stranger to standing and trading in the form of Kevin Holland. So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is we can have two strikers go at each other in the welterweight division next year: Conor McGregor, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and I think this would be the perfect matchup for 2023. Knowing that Conor McGregor, of course, he hasn't won a fight in the lightweight division in almost 6, and by the time he returns next year, it'll be 7 years. I think his last win, yeah, in fact, his last win was in 2016 against Eddie Alvarez. So by the time he returns, it'll be 7 years. McGregor had won a fight, a former lightweight champion at the 145-pound division. Whereas on the other hand, you have Wonderboy, who is fresh on the back of a victory over Kevin Holland, and of course, he will look to continue that momentum. And what better way to do it than by securing a potential fight and of course a potential victory against a fighter like Conor McGregor. So naturally, I think this plays out quite nicely. And on top of that, Wonderboy Thompson also was asked about a potential fight against McGregor after his victory over Kevin Holland. I believe it was during an ESPN show, post-analysis show on ESPN. So basically, why I think that Conor McGregor versus Stephen Thompson makes the most sense right now is, of course, as we all know, that styles makes fights, and Wonderboy is almost 40 right now, and putting him against the likes of Bilal Muhammad, the likes of I don't know, Shavkat Rakhmonov and Khamzat Chimaev in the welterweight division is not going to do him any favors. It's not going to do the UFC any favors. Instead, why not just the UFC book strikers and fighters like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who are of course specialized in the striking department, against fellow strikers like Conor McGregor. If you put Wonderboy, a 40-year-old Wonderboy, by the way, against a striker like Kevin Holland or such as Conor McGregor, you are going to get fights like these, like the ones that we witnessed this past weekend in Orlando. Like, it was such a great fight. Even in terms of Kevin Holland, like, Kevin Holland is not going to go out there and perform against a wrestler. He's not going to be at his best against a wrestler. We have seen how he has fought against the likes of Khamzat Chimaev, and when he fought Derek Brunson and Marvin Vittori, who of course are good grapplers back in the middleweight division. So when you have fighters like Kevin Holland, Stephen Thompson, of course Conor McGregor, like, it's the best scenario you can possibly find from a situation like this to book strikers against each other. Of course, like Conor McGregor, as sad as it sounds at the moment, I don't think he has what it takes to deal with the likes of Islam Makhachev or maybe even Charles Oliveira in the lightweight division. It just makes no sense for Conor McGregor or for the UFC to book their biggest superstar in fights like these. Rather, why not just put McGregor in there with the likes of Michael Chandler? Michael Chandler is the type of fight that you would like to see Conor McGregor return against, because that guy is literally nuts. He's going to go out there, he's going to stand and trade. I don't know, like, he could potentially take the wrestling route with McGregor, but after seeing him fight against Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje, you could think that, all right, Michael Chandler is going to go out there, he's going to stand and trade with Conor McGregor, and we're going to get a brutal war out of it. So why not just put Conor McGregor in there with someone like Stephen Thompson? Of course, Thompson is on the back of a big win over Kevin Holland after 2 straight losses. Like I said, McGregor hasn't won a fight in quite some time now. He desperately needs a win, and I think his next fight, the UFC somehow, or rather McGregor somehow needs to make sure that it's a victory. You cannot have Conor McGregor go on such a long losing streak. His last victory, of course, was against Donald Cerrone, who, by the way, has retired at this point. So let's be honest, that fight, I mean, it was good. It's good to see McGregor get a win, but yeah, come on, man. If you want to see Conor McGregor uh, sort of have that special feeling around him, that aura around him, he's currently 33. He's not that old, of course. And with that being said, if you want to see McGregor's special aura, you have to put him in the octagon with fighters and strikers like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. That's going to bring the best out of Conor McGregor, I think. You cannot just go ahead and put McGregor in there with the likes of Islam Makhachev or Charles Oliveira, or maybe even Dustin Poirier once again. Who knows? Because honestly, I think McGregor, it is time for him to move up to the welterweight division. He looks absolutely ridiculous these days. Just have him move up to the welterweight division, have him fight against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in 2023. We have two great fighters, of course, who are really great in that striking department. McGregor, as we know, was the type of fighter back in the day when he was competing at featherweight. He liked to follow that karate sort of stance. He had that karate sort of stance to his fighting style. And of course, Wonderboy is someone who likes to have the same approach as well. We saw how elegant his striking was against Kevin Holland. That's what happens when you put someone like Wonderboy Thompson against a fellow striker like Kevin Holland. You're going to see the best out of both of these guys. And that's what we saw. We witnessed an absolutely banger of a fight. That's what's going to happen in 2023 if you put Conor McGregor and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in the same octagon at the same time against each other. So just go ahead and do it, UFC. Just go ahead and put these two men at the same time in the same octagon. Let us enjoy a good fight out of Stephen Thompson once again. Let us enjoy a good fight out of Conor McGregor once again before, he decides to bow out from this game. Because let's be honest, man, Conor McGregor has all the money in the world right now. He could literally retire tomorrow and he wouldn't go broke. Let's be honest. Let us all enjoy Conor McGregor's fights, Conor McGregor's special aura while he's still here, while he's still willing to fight. And the best way to do it, I think, would be to put him in the octagon against fellow strikers. So that is pretty much the reason I think Conor McGregor versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson makes sense for 2023. I mean, in fact, Conor McGregor versus any of the strikers, even Justin Gaethje is one fight that I would really like to see. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this video. I think Conor McGregor should return against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson next year. I think that is the fight to make. NMF versus, I don't know if Conor McGregor counts as a BMF. He probably does. But yeah, let's get it. Let's do this fight. Let's get Conor McGregor versus Stephen Thompson for 2023. I hope the UFC makes the right choice with McGregor's return. Even if it's not against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, I hope that they put him in the octagon against a striker. Because like I said once again, and that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys have any thoughts on a potential McGregor versus Wonderboy matchup, let me know in the comments. If you have any other opinion on McGregor's return or Wonderboy's return, if you think McGregor should fight someone else, you can let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone.